Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. Good morning, Asada. Asada. Good morning, good morning. Where's my stuff at? What does I do? Okay. Yeah, so stock market's still in a sell signal. That's about that. I haven't really seen anything fun or cool this morning. I've also been doing some other work. There has been maybe this stock. Hmm. Guess I maybe did miss something. Yeah, but either way, not a whole lot of activity this morning. So we'll just see. Just basically sitting, hanging out. Oh, where's my notepad? Things not refreshing each morning. Hmm. So really, the only thing I did was buy a little bit of MSCI this morning, hoping again Bitcoin would eventually bounce. Well, eventually. I mean, again, we are in a bear market, but every time I think it gets oversold, I try to buy some and get a little dip on it. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the only thing I've really done this morning. Let's make that a little bigger. Scroll up. So yeah, market's just really in a selling operation. So yeah, when that changes, we'll go back to bullish. Oh wait, yeah, that's actually, sorry, forgot to mention. Yeah, so yesterday we were long bias up to the price of 675. That was our long target yesterday for the squeeze move, which then was met with a furious sell-off. All right, so pretty much all we did yesterday slash past 2 days, if you will. Yeah, sorry, I actually kind of forgot like what happened yesterday for a second. So yeah, so we pretty much ran up to our long target of 675. That's where we were trying to go to. We were not trying to go higher than that, at least for the moment, right? Could we have gone higher? Sure, but clearly not. So yeah, our long target yesterday was 675. So ultimately what we saw yesterday was a short-term, long fake buying operation that then was met with resistance and then came back down and flipped the market negative. Obviously, if you watched yesterday and listened to some of the things we said, but it would also be there on the notes section. You will see yesterday I wrote specifically on the notepad that the dangers of today's long, so this is talking about yesterday, the dangers of yesterday's long was that there was no confirmed back test of the long, right? So what we ended up seeing after the move to 675 was market get weakness and go for a back test, which had not yet happened, either on the stock market or on the volatility index and VVIX. So it's not like we didn't see that there was danger within the market on the long move based off of how it had formed. That was all known. And that was in yesterday's stream. Specifically, if you look at the notepad, it will say the dangers of this long is there's no confirmed back test, right? Therefore, we eventually stall out. We go for a back test. no support is found, and then the market right about there, I'll make it exact. The market does what? Flips into a negative territory and goes back into a selling operation. So what we had was market has been bearish. Then yesterday we flipped the market back to positive, or not yesterday, day before, flipped the market back positive, ran it to a desirable long target, and then on the pullback to back test the breakout, there was no hold and it flipped the market back negative, and now we're back to bearish. All right, that's all that's happened. So basically, the simplest way of saying it is yesterday was a fake long. Now, you didn't really know it was a fake long until it's a fake long. Now, you could have ideas that maybe it is because there was no back test, etc. But again, you never truly know all of that until it happens. You can only take what the market gives you and you'll build your game plan. So, what is this back test that I'm saying we never had, right? So, ready? Let me I mean, it we talked about all this yesterday. So, I don't want someone, thinking like, "Oh, no, this was all discussed yesterday." What did we say? We said the dangers of this gap up is that the SMA of the market is still very negatively sloped down, and the market has broken out and it has not yet back tested. Therefore, if the market hasn't back tested the SMA, what would be the sell move slash back test? It would be all the way to the 50 SMA. And then if the market holds no support, then you flip the market back negative. So we're just still in a selling operation. Had a false long yesterday with it's not even really a false long. I mean, think about it. The market went up in a buy signal. Let's see. Watch this. Let's see. So the market broke out there. All right. Well, it'd probably be better to do this on the SPY, a little more relatable for most. So we'll go over to the SPY. Regular trading hours, right? So this is pretty much what we did yesterday or 2 days ago. Whatever. What was that? I don't know. Was that Wednesday or yeah, maybe it was Wednesday after hours. But either way, this is pretty much what we did, right? The market was bearish, right? It was going down, and then what happened? We broke out the 50 SMA. There's a long to 675, which literally, if you go in yesterday's YouTube video stream, that was our target, 675, the exact top. All right. Then it rolls down all the way to the yellow horizontal line, which is really the 50 SMA for a back test, which never happened. Again, if you look at the breakout in the after hours, ready? And we discussed this. Look at, there's no back test, right? The market just goes up and over. Where's the back test? There's no back test. It just goes. That's what we call an algo. Forced. Well, that would be force. Algo force long. Or manipulation long in a way. I mean, in the sense that the market literally just broke out, no back test, forces all the way up to 675, squeezing out short sellers as we said we would. And then we roll it back down for the back test. There is no support to hold the uptrend, goes back negative. All right. So we just basically saw a short-lived manipulation long pop to basically trap longs, squeeze shorts, and then roast the market back down. Did I know we were going to trap longs fully? No. Did I know we were going to squeeze shorts? Yes. Did I know that it was dangerous because there was no back test? Yes. Did I know the market would instantly roll over at 675, go straight down back to the 50 SMA? No. But once it started happening, yes. So you never fully know these things are just kind of in the back of your mind ultimately. So all this means is the market is back to negative. We're on the neutral to bearish side of the market. You really shouldn't be swing long. And this is exactly what we discussed the past couple days. We will go back long the market when it makes sense. When did it make sense to go back long the market? It made sense to go back long the market yesterday slash in the after hour session of the day prior, right? Well, hold on. So for me, this is when it would make sense to go back long the market there. And then we traded this up to 675. All right. Now we come down, no support. Now below, now we are again neutral to bearish. We are not long the stock market. When it goes back to positive, I will go long the stock market, right? So I wasn't participating on any of this drop, really wasn't participating on the breakdown. Right after I got off, I ended up going out to one of my rental properties and doing some work. So I didn't really involve myself in anything else yesterday, even though it was a fantastic drop. But anyways, so the beautiful thing is that my account, my Roth IRA that we use specifically for this stream got none of that downside action, really. Or I might have got a little bit. I think I had a couple shares on, but most of this downside action I was not a part of. So my account is not seeing the negative percentage, if you will, because again, we only try to participate when the market goes into a long signal and is going up, essentially. That's the idea. So we have avoided our account getting cooked on that drop and pretty much all of the current bearish move that you've been seeing. All of the movement down of this market, our portfolio is not involved in it because we follow a system that tells us not to be holding when the market is going down. Generally, only holding and going in when the market is hopefully going up. Not always, but ultimately, yes. So we have avoided most of this drop. So the portfolio is healthy in that regard that we are, again, not participating or not getting caught in the downward slide. So what is the market down currently? Let's see, the market is now down. What is that? Uh, Market's down 5% from the high. So that 5% slide, that, whatever. But again, we're not involved in it. So that's cool. Bitcoin kind of bouncing a little bit off this low. Again, we're not looking for Bitcoin to put in like crazy bounces necessarily. We know it's in a bear market. We know it's been going to go well, pretty well. We had a great idea. It would go into a bear market in October of, or start going into a bear market in October of 2025. So everything that we've been talking about for years is happening, right? So when you hear me talking of, oh, I'm looking for a little Bitcoin bounce, that's because I just think in the immediate things are so oversold enough that I can probably just find a tradable bounce somewhere. That's it, right? We were long bias Bitcoin. Now we are bearish Bitcoin. Anything bounce related, it's all very short-term stuff, right? So that being said, yes, we're in a bear market on Bitcoin. You obviously know this. Anyone that follows us even for like, 2.5 minutes knows that we've been talking about Bitcoin entering a bear market in October of 2025 for over 3 years. All right. We're here. It's happening. You're not confused. I'm not confused. It's like, duh, right? So, we're just going to let this thing do what it does, which is go down, bounce around, go down, bounce around, go down until we think it's time for the market to bottom. And then when I think it's time that the market's bottomed, I will let you know that I think this is a market bottom, not just, hey, I think we might be doing. No, this is where I think we're going to bottom. We're going to recycle into a long-term bullish market. I will let you know that day. That day will not be for some time, I think. If it comes before that, I'm sorry. That's why I dollar cost average every single week, 3 times a week. In the event I think I'm so smart, I end up being proven I'm dumb. At least I still bought something. Okay. So when I think the market cycle bottom is in, I will let you know. Everything until then is just short-term swing, day, bounce, random stuff like that. All right, so hopefully for the 11 of you that seem to watch me every single day, you're not confused. All right. Oh man. All right. Um, all right. Yeah, what was it saying? Yeah, I don't really remember. Something about Bitcoin. So I can't say that I'm gonna be doing a whole lot of anything today right now. Just on the way that so far this day is shaping up. It's a Friday. All right. So it's for one, it's a Friday. Number two, I mean, there's like one penny stock that's kind of moving. Again, like just the momentum and the volatility aren't really there in the market. So, I'm kind of just tiptoeing around the market these days until we go back into like a good buy signal. So unless I really think there's something great, I'm probably not going to do a whole lot. The only thing that's kind of moving okay is the stock IVDA, but I'm so late to that I don't even really care about it. I'm just watching it for more like learning purposes for like the next time around. But anyways, it's just one of those things. No stock, no thing has really caught my eye this morning as far as like penny stock stuff goes, right? The only other thing caught my eye is like, maybe we'll do a little Bitcoin bounce, and even that's just meh. But then again, that's what you get for trying to buy into an absolute falling knife, right? So, but it is kind of fun at times. So, but again, like I said, I'm not risking a ton on that, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, oh man. So yeah, I mean, again, I wish I had more fun things to tell you, but it's. I mean, it's very simple. It's the same. It's literally the same thing every single day. So, it's not like we wake up, you know, every morning and go, oh, like something new and crazy is going to be developing. Like, no, it's the same thing. And market goes in an uptrend, it goes in a downtrend. Stocks go in uptrends, and then they back test and go into downtrends. The VIX breaks out or the VIX doesn't break out, right? Um, it's Bitcoin's in a bear market, you know. That's going to be going on for a while, most likely. So, you know, I don't, it's fun, but it's not like we can have that very crazy, stream in the sense because again, it's just a simple, repeatable system that happens every single day and every single week, and it's just up or down. So that being said, what is there even to talk about these days on our stream? That's how I feel like it's getting. It's like, what is there even to say? Takes me 3 seconds to figure the market. Well, not really, but pretty much. Only takes a few seconds to really look at the market. Like, oh yeah, der. All right, so market broke down, and we're going to be looking at Bricketans. Nice, good for you. Yeah, there's been times where I've used stochastic, and it's kind of helped. Everyone's kind of got their thing, and there's been times where I've really enjoyed using a stochastic, but I don't necessarily use it all the time, obviously. Um, So here's part of me wishes that like I was around yesterday during the breakdown in the stream because this is what does end up happening. A lot of the good strategies that we teach and implement, and it's kind of fun watching traders in our chat room now starting to use some of these systems, and you can kind of it's cool because you see them using it themselves in real time and it's actually working. So it's cool in that regard. But anyways, looking at this 50 SMA. Or wait, market just opened. I probably should just chill and go back to not looking at yesterday. But anyways. Yeah, I'm trying to figure. Again, I haven't really spent a lot of time looking at the SPY this morning. Haven't really developed a game plan. Kind of been going through some emails and stuff like that. Yeah, so I'm just kind of thinking, what is the most likely thing to happen in the short term as well? Well, if we look at the 30-minute lower high should come in pretty much there. Yeah, we should like right here is where the 30-minute lower high would arguably be, which is that yellow line, which pretty much means on the 30-minute, as long as we're below the yellow, the market will trade bearish and for the moment. So, yeah, let's go with that. But anyways, let's see what these market internals be looking like. All right, so market internals to start. What is this whack? What is that? I never did any of this. I don't know what this chart is doing. Why is my, yeah, that's just weird. Why would my MACD be on there? All right, so looking at the market internals, the Magnificent Seven are not bearish, so market's probably not going to sell off for the moment. SPY issues are not extremely bearish. Advancing declining volume of the market is basic. Everything's just meh right now. There's no extreme edge one way or the other. It's not like everything's just going up and not everything's just going down. It's arguably like flat to bullish. So, you know. Yeah, so market's basically flat to bullish. And when I say flat to bullish, that just means the short term, right? Like the market's obviously in a selling operation below the 50 SMA, blah, 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 blah. But if you're looking at the immediate, I mean, everything's just kind of flat, really. Slightly bullish. I mean, yeah, it's nothing to write home about this morning. So far, market's acting like a Friday. So far, the market's acting like a Friday. Acting like a no trade day. Today will be the day. YouTube is about to blow it up, baby. Yeah, Bitcoin did not do anything cool, which basically means my MSTR won't do anything cool. That's okay. Oh, man. It's gonna be a long Bitcoin cruel winter droppy magoo. Hmm. What a fun open so far. Flat and sideways. Who would have thought? Let's look at the VIX. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna show you guys the back test on the VIX and stuff, but there's no point either way. So, anyways, VIX and VVIX are back to positive. When those flip negative or whatever, then we will go back to bullish the market more so. Hmm. Interesting. Well, it looks like Bitcoin's kind of bouncing there, so that's cool. Yay. MSTR's putting in a pretty solid day, actually, so that's pretty good. I mean, no, it's really not doing a whole lot, actually. It's obviously going up, but that's about it. Well, again, probably going to be a very boring day, assuming. Again, like I said, just really nothing on scanners. Nothing super fun. It's a Friday. Let's see if there's any fun penny stock moving. Again, market's just rolling down, as we pretty much already mentioned. As long as the market is below this yellow line, it still kind of has a lower high kind of scenario. But the danger too is that this also becomes a target in that sense because there's no back test of it. So if it wants to rally up to back test, it can still do that. Yeah, I mean, maybe I see maybe one stock right now. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. I just don't really trust it being a Friday and market's been pretty lame already. I mean, Google did start along this morning, but it was at the price of 291.63, so a little elevated there as far as risk goes. But it actually does look kind of decent. So I'll just kind of I'm just gonna draw this up. It can be like that. It's kind of a crappy drawing, but it could be up two. and then you might be able to find some resistance down from there. But ultimately, like we said, it's bearish below that yellow line. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep flipping through some stocks here, see if I find something that looks good. If not, might just pop on some Slither I own and grab a coffee. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I got smacked yesterday. All right, well, yeah, nothing's really nothing's really popping up right now for me. Ooh, maybe found something. Huh. I don't think yet. Hmm. Maybe not. It's just sketchy trying to buy stocks when the market's going down like this. It just never is easy. Really got to put on your thinking cap. Just a bunch of garbage popping up today. That's what I mean is like this is basically what happens like when you have down days in the market, then you just get these random piece of shit pop thingy stocks popping. This might, I don't know, but whatever. Who cares? That's funny. Yeah, there's just not a whole lot today. So far, things always change. But how long I'm willing to sit here and watch nothing? Probably not too long. Oh, well, that stock's actually doing pretty good, but that thing started a buy signal a few days ago. NNOX. It had a nice long move today. I just kind of came across it. I'm not suggesting in any means we are late by a long time. The perfect entry for that was like was that Tuesday, Tuesday and or yesterday, Thursday. Busy day here in the YouTube streams. Busy days. We need to get those bots. I gotta start paying the bots. Hmm. That's dang it. Oh no, the market's going down. Like who would have thought? Yep, I don't really got anything here this morning. Again, market's just a Friday. It's still a bearish market. We're basically looking for pop to short in the market as basically written on the screen. The only difference is we didn't actually pop to that level we would be looking for. But regardless, it's just down. We could bring up the market internals, but you guys know to watch these all already, right? So you see the Magnificent Seven going down, you know the market's not going to go up. You see the S&P issues going down, market's not going to go up. You see the Nasdaq, or sorry, the advancing declining issues going down, market's not going to go up. So, all the metrics that you guys already know to watch have not really told you it's a bullish day. If anything, it's pretty much that it's a lackluster, day, and then they started going bearish. Now, in the beginning of the day to start, you could obviously see it was kind of flat to arguably bullish, hence that little popping we saw at the open. But ultimately, just down for the moment. Well, kind of. So just be careful out there. Like I said, I'll go back long the stock market. I don't really have any position on the market. I'll go back long the market when I may think it makes sense. But for now, I'm just gonna be chilling and letting everyone else see their accounts go down if they're buying, or if, they're invested, and then I'll just wait for the market to go into a buy signal. So could be some days, could be a couple weeks, don't really know. Don't make it, just follow the system. That being said, I think I'm gonna go get some coffee. We have made it back. Chat's going crazy. Markets are not going crazy. Typical stuff, typical day. Whoa, that's interesting. This could be interesting, folks. Hmm, I don't know. I just saw Sava was up. I haven't seen that name in a while. Eh, I'm probably not going to do anything today. It's Friday. Haven't seen anything great all morning. Market's kind of a turd. Volatility index is still elevated. Fears expressed in the market. Markets are hedging volatility. Probably just gonna wait till Monday at this rate unless something just randomly screams at me. or I just happen to get lucky and come across something that looks good. So that one kind of did work. Hmm. Just ran into resistance though. And it's funny, like with the market being down, the only thing the market can pump is these just tiny little guys. It's kind of funny. Everything else does not stand a chance. Hmm. Hmm. Well, market's trying to kind of bounce a little bit here. Again, obviously, if you guys look at the market internals, things are kind of going up a little bit. And you guys already know if it kind of breaks out previous high days, it's going to jump to about 657.02 or so, give or take, right into that 30-minute volume weighted average price. I do got my eyes on a penny stock right now. I'm not going to give it out because I think it's somewhat dangerous, but it might have a play. Okay. So, kind of watching this CCTG as it comes down into 24 cents. Now, granted, things obviously going down for the moment. All right, never mind. The stock is not available for electronic trading, so on my account, that's sweet. So, anyways, but CCTG is kind of an interesting one, maybe. Again, we're having a pick through the weeds today for penny stocks because that's just what happens. So. Let me just bring this up so you can kind of see it. So we're expecting CCTG to come down to about 25 cents, give or take. And if it can hold support there, then it's okay. Otherwise, it's just going to turd out. So if we look at CCTG, and I was looking at this one a little earlier, but just never quite felt confident enough. So CCTG 0.23, 23 cents, etc. So you guys can see right there, 23 cents. So this is where I would call the breakout right there on that candle. All right, coming over the yellow. So market moves up two. There's the breakout. All right, and then that's a pullback. And as long as it's over the 30-minute, it's in an uptrend on the 30. All right. But this top that you see right here, what is that? What is that? That is the market breaking the 30-minute, transitioning to the 4 hour, using the 4 hours resistance to pull it back to the 30. So if you look at the 4 hour chart here, you will see, real quick, zoom in, zoom in. Oh, not quite. Sorry, I have that a little off. My bad. My apologies. Oh, well, come on. Oh my goodness. Would you freaking work, Thinkorswim kid? Jeez, oh Pete. All right, so it's that one. It might have been the other 4 hour. 1 second. No. Okay. My apologies. I had that slightly incorrect. So we have essentially the 30-minute breaking out, transitioning up to the 4 hour, 4 hour breaking out a little bit, failing both of them, so on and so forth. So it's just kind of one of those scenarios where, worth mentioning. Is it a great setup? I mean, not particularly because the market's a piece of crap right now. So, these whenever I see these, right? So whenever I see these just kind of straight shot ups, these tend to be the ones that kind of end up just fading directly back out. But occasionally we'll find some that actually end up holding a support and having a secondary bounce. So this one is like good chance it's not going to work at all. Slight chance it might. Great learning example if you guys involve yourself with such stocks at any point. Because, yeah, now you can kind of get a vibe for it. Right. So this is a lot of times what we see, right? So the stock market's in a sell signal. You can see all morning I've basically been clicking the keyboard. If you guys can hear that, I'm just basically just typing in tickers, right? Over and over and over and over and over. Seeing if I can find anything that makes sense to trade or anything that's at a certain level and anything with good volume. And it's been very lackluster this morning. It's the example of when liquidity is being removed from the markets, it's harder to pump stocks. Now, granted, this thing has a decent amount of volume, but it's still just being a piece of crap. So again, it's just very common. This is what we see when the markets are going through selling operations. It's not your fault. It's not the market's fault. I mean, this is just what happens, right? So, that being said, it's been kind of a challenge to find anything this morning that's even like halfway decent. Other than obviously the one and only MSTR, which that's the only thing I've really done that's done anything good today. And even that's like meh, So it's just today's just not been a day of activity for stocks in general. Even the market's been pretty meh since the open. I mean, if you had a down move, an up move, a down move, an up move, I mean, it's not an easy day. All right, so still just in the searching, if you will, and I don't even know. Again, it's like sometimes things randomly start working, sometimes they just never pick up. The only other thing that I should have bought more of today was OSRH. I was thinking about getting involved in that one probably 20 minutes ago, and just never really pulled the trigger on anything good there. And it's worked. I mean, it's kind of one of those things I've seen myself the past like couple weeks just like almost maybe being a little too picky on some things. And then I've actually avoided putting myself in some okay trades. Granted, they're not like A plus, but sometimes ones that don't look A plus turn into A pluses. You know what I mean? So OSRH is like the only stock here that looks like halfway decent today, and it's the one that I really didn't do anything. So again, this one had a breakout. That was clean. And then back just at 9:36. Right. What time is it? 10 o'clock. Yeah, right around 9:36, 9:40. That was the back test to support, right? And then there's your long. Now, granted, this is like kind of a good teaching example, right? Because there's actually a lot of patterns that I can see on this 1 minute chart that everyone is taught, but they're all just, I mean, it's just terrible way to learn, I think, now that I've done it for so long, right? So what I see here, so when I look at this, I think of this as this is the market going into an uptrend. This is a back test of the uptrend, and that's the long of the uptrend. Now, it just so happens that while the market went into an uptrend back test, blah, 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 there's patterning that's forming within candlesticks. Now, one of which you could be like, oh, there's a downtrend here, and you could go like that, right? And then someone be like, oh, it crossed the downtrend, it back tested down long, right? Whatever, something like that. Granted, our support is down here at the yellow, right? So you can think about it like that. Phone calls coming in. Hold on, I'll be right back. 1 second. All right, sorry. Yeah, so a couple things going on with this one. It's got that downtrend there, so I'm probably use. There's also a head and shoulders hat, inverse head and shoulders here. You can see it's right here. That's your inverse head and shoulders pattern. All right. Which the rules of the inverse head and shoulders would say that once the market breaks through the neckline, which is arguably anywhere from here to here, you'd get long. So if you were a neckline break trader, you'd be buying essentially right in that top, arguably that area. So you got that. And then also there's like you could call this a flag. It's a really shitty looking one, but it basically is like right in there. Like, someone might think of that as like a flag pattern. All right, that's what I could see. So there's like three sort of patterning things going on there with the pricing, which sure, fine, all dandy, but I mean, if you use the trend line concept, not that some of these things don't like work, you see what I'm saying? But if you use the trend line concept on this stock today, your buy point, maybe it's there on the back test, which arguably is actually pretty good. If you try to use it to break, you're buying up there. If you buy the bull flag, you're buying up here. If you buy the neckline, you're buying up here, right? But if you buy the back test of support or look for entries, then you're buying down at the arrow, right? So that's the difference of not really my system. That's the difference of the system. That is the system. That's so you either use the stock market system or you use retail patterning systems, right? So every single one of retail patterning ideas would be later than that of using just basic one level uptrend, downtrend logic, which is if above, that's up. If back test, that's a back test, then long, right? You see what I'm saying? So this is a good stock to learn from today. It's got a couple different patterns in there that retail traders could be looking at and things like that. Um, while simultaneously having a really, a decent setup for what we look at. And let's see what the return was here today on that. That was a 34% return. Yeah, I definitely dropped the ball on that one big time. Idiot. I feel like I've been doing that the past couple days. So could have done much better on that one. I mean, I did a little something with it, but nothing spectacular. It just didn't have the balls to pull the trigger earlier this morning. So didn't really do great with that. Bitcoin pulling back, so MSTR is probably pulling back. Just one of those days, folks. One of those days. Time is it? 10:04. Holy cow, we still have an hour. Yeah, not really. I could get off whenever I want. It's Friday, baby. Also, I was gonna say yesterday, I think I told you guys I had five houses. That's wrong. I have four houses. I probably said five because I'm doing a bunch of research on a new house, so my mind is probably already set on getting it, arguably. So, but no, I don't have five. I have four, maybe five soon. But my mind maybe is manifesting that I already want it. But no, I have four houses. So just an FYI. Kind of said some incorrect stuff yesterday. And stuff. We'll do a little, what is this? Um, we'll do a little update on the real estate portfolio. There it goes. All right. So as we discussed, this year's been kind of crazy with a bunch of remodeling stuff, big expenses. So we got a negative 13.5% cash on cash return over the trailing 12-month period, but we're getting close to bringing that back to positive. September's return was 0%, break even. October 0.2%. So we're getting close to getting our trailing 12-month back in a positive cash flowing manner. So that's going to feel good. Yep, the portfolio value is net worth is 905 grand. Total value is 1.7 million. Debt owed is 800,000 right now. These expenses are about to get a little crazy too because I decided to pull the trigger on like an HVAC system on one of these old houses. It doesn't really have central air, but sellability factor in the future, it kind of needs it. So, wow, yeah, another property's gonna be rented soon. Couple rooms, another property gonna be rented soon. So hoping leading into December and January, we're going to start seeing the incoming cash flow start significantly boosting up. We're going to have a couple big expenses coming up, but should be stabilizing a lot of the remodel and upgrades that I'm doing here pretty soon. And then we should get back to a pretty consistent cash flowing system. Just kind of have to get through the hiccups in these remodels and some of the stuff we're doing for the time being. But once that happens, then all of this is going to turn around pretty good. Um, and then again, one of the properties is completely debt free now. So as that starts to get rented, I mean, I only have to cover my taxes and insurance, so essentially, and maintenance, right? But there's no mortgage payment on one, so cash flow is going to dramatically increase here pretty soon. So it'll be fun. Again, the net worth number really changes only when the debt is reduced and property appreciation comes in. So, granted, you're not going to see this net worth number change drastically unless there's a big fluctuation in home prices. Um, but you will see it consistently go up in the sense that each month when I update my finances and do my accounting and I track, my incoming or sorry, my principal reduction and interest payment and all that good stuff, that number does change. Granted, I think we went over this at the beginning of the month, so it probably looks the exact same for those that paid attention. But as we get into the end of the month or next month, these little numbers will change a little bit. So maybe we'll do a little update there. Roth IRA account, again, there hasn't really been any significant growth over the past couple weeks. Kind of just haven't had. I've had a couple little uppies, couple little downies, and then pretty much the past like 2 weeks has been break even. So I'm pretty much still sitting at that 30 something percent return on my Roth IRA. Kind of sucks. I kind of dropped the ball on a couple things. I think I should be up closer to 40%, but I kind of fumbled a couple plays, unfortunately. So yeah, we still should be beating them. Well, I know I'm beating the market this year. I don't think the market's going to return enough to beat out my portfolio gain, which again, it's a smaller account, so it's nothing to really write home about. But I'm hoping we can keep that pace, 30% return every single year. Pshee, be fine. So yeah, let's just hope that I pull the trigger on a couple good things before the end of the year, and hopefully we can close it out closer to a 40%, 50, 60, as high as we can possibly go without, screwing up my account. So yeah, we'll do a little update on that as we get into December. And yeah, it was about it. Nothing, not a whole lot more to say there. Yeah, I did say that I sold off quite a bit of gold and silver. That I was attached to for a long time. I started buying that back in like 2017, 16, or 2018, 19. A lot of it in 18, or a lot in 17, a lot in 2021 during the COVID stuff. But anyway, so sold off, liquidated like half of my gold and silver stuff. All the physical stuff I liquidated. So that's all been sold. Granted, I feel like gold is still going to go screaming up here. So when gold ends up blowing up higher, I'm going to be kind of annoyed at myself. But, there's only so much you can do. So, like, part of me is like, yeah, I want to see it go down because then I timed it good. But the other part's like, I don't really want it to go down because I want everybody else that holds gold and silver to, have their stuff go up and not go down. So, that being said, that's that. Still buying my Bitcoin 3 times a week, every single week, without hesitation. Granted, we're still waiting for the big dippies. We're still waiting on new dip buys for Bitcoin. I don't think that's anywhere nearby. I actually did have a couple friends reach out over the past couple weeks asking me about Bitcoin again, and they all got the same talk. Dollar cost average it. Do not load up right now. We're going to go lower. So one of them asked me when we were at 100,000 if it was a time. I'm like, no, please don't buy. It's not the time. You're going to lose. Here we are at 80 something thousand. Another one of my buddies in Texas texted me just a couple days ago. He also texted me, actually, you know what? I'm going to find the text message. You know what? That's a good one. Yeah, we're going to find that. So you guys just do whatever you want to do for a couple minutes while I figure out where this find this text message. All right, so I am going to screenshot some of these text messages and then I will email them to myself and then I will bring them up on the computer screen for you guys to read. Wait, when was the date of that too? Damn. Wait, it doesn't make any sense. Oh, it does make sense. Holy cow, that is crazy. No, damn it. How do I show the date of that text? I click it. Oh yeah, I can. Well, I'll do that too. All right. All right, 1 second. Email to self. Sorry guys if I'm being boring and if you think it's boring and you don't like hanging out here, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Trying my best here, trying my best to give valuable information without being your hypey, influency guy. Photos. Where is this at? Okay, there's that one. There's this guy, and th maybe this one. All right, let me bring these emails, these emailed and pictures up. All right. Man, we're just absolutely booming here on YouTube. 8 viewers, stream every single day for a couple hours, help people predict markets, pick good stocks, and YouTube's like, ah, this kid's an idiot. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Let's see. What was I gonna do? Oh, Gmail. Sorry. All right. Well, let's see. Where's the first one? All right. So for one, I just want to bring this up. Now, granted, it doesn't really fully show the date, but anyways, I just want to emphasize this is from, oh, sweet. I can just use my scroll thingy and it's just going through these pictures. That's lit. Let's go. I didn't know I could do that. All right. So this was a message to me back in, well, I don't know exact. I think I got the message on January 18th of 2025. So it says January 18th right there. I mean, if you don't what, but again, this was January 18th of 2025 that my buddy from Texas was messaging me. What's causing crypto to plummet and be unstable right now? XRP hit $1.80. Oh, actually, that's what he asked me just like this, like October or something. I don't know. But anyways, so this was my message to him. This was in January 18th of 2025. He goes, "What's going on with the crypto? Why is everything or whatever, right?" He goes, I go, the entire crypto market is in a bull market. I expect by October of 2025, the crypto bull market will have peaked or peak in October around there of this year, at which point we will see the entire crypto market go into a 1.5 year bear market. XRP has become a hot crypto, blah, 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 right? So that was back in the beginning of 2025. I was texting my friend telling him, hey, we're going to peak in 2025 October. So this is the same stuff I tell you guys, right? So we're not, it's whatever they hear, it's the same thing you hear. Whatever you're hearing, I share the exact same information to everyone, right? It's not like I'm changing information where, depending on the channels that it's going through, right? So that was the beginning of the year. Hey, we're going to peak in October. and here we have peak. So that's pretty wild. All right. So then when the market is getting absolutely destroyed just recently. So, right, just recently the market's getting cooked, right? Everything's going down. He texts me, goes, "What's causing crypto to plummet?" And all I had to do was go back to the text that I sent him in the beginning of 2025 and circle it January 18th. Remember what I told? So this is him asking me what's going on, and then I go back in the timeline and go, "I already told you." In 20 October of 2025, we will enter a bear market. So he's asking me because he's fearful, he's scared. It's all going down his account. What's happening, Connor? What's happening is what I told you was going to happen a year earlier or a year ago, essentially, right? So that's beautiful. That's beautiful to have that on file there. I wasn't even thinking about it until like just today. So yeah, good stuff. So just again know that what I tell my friends is the same thing I'm telling you. I don't hide that information or I don't try to, be secretive of that, essentially, So for those that care to listen, there you have it. So that was me trying to emphasize, hey buddy, like if you just listen to the things that I tell you sometimes, it's the truth, right? So, you could ask me what's going on, or you could have just listened to what I was telling you when you first asked me about it, right? So, again, that's the funny thing with the investing world is like there's so much information. We all hear so much, and you do it, I do it. It's like one person tells you one thing, you don't know to believe it, right? You don't act on it. It's just like all the guys at my golf group, 3.5 years ago, I say buy Bitcoin at 15 grand. It's going to skyrocket, right? And then none of them buy Bitcoin, and then it skyrocketed. Oh, well, should I buy now? I go, no, we're going to go into a bear market. But the next time it's ready to buy, I'll let you know again. All right. You know what I mean? Um, so that being said, there's some good evidence and proof there of, the analysis coming true and context to it well beforehand. So that being said, let's just enjoy the bear market while it's here, giggle and laugh while everyone's fearful, and then when the market's ready to be bought, we will buy it. Man, we have a just an extremely busy YouTube chat. I mean, like crazy. Just absolutely crazy. Oh no, OSRH is crashing. Probably going back down to the breakout level. Oh, look at our little shit coin. What's gold doing? Well, gold hasn't done anything really since the day I sold it. It's pretty much been chilling. So that's good for my psychology. But the day this thing absolutely blows up again, I'm just gonna be in straight pain. I'm gonna just, I mean, I shouldn't even feel that way. I mean, realistically, the liquidation of my gold and silver allowed me to boost my income by another $27,000 this year in rental cash flow. So it's like I really can't complain. If I want to, I could go buy $30,000 worth of gold and silver again this year after 1 year's cash flow of the rental that has no mortgage on it, essentially. So it's like it's kind of one of those things. Like, yeah, I mean, it did well and I like it, but am I really not going to liquidate some of it to just boost my income by almost 30 grand a year? That would be kind of silly. So I just figured the benefits outweighed me holding the gold and silver. So listen to me. Yeah, listen to the things I say, but don't always do the things that I do. It's the perfect scenario. Like, don't buy a stock like me, make a decent gain on it, sell a good amount, hold a little bit, turns into an absolute banger, and you're like, well, that was stupid. Or don't buy a stock that you're confident in and then think that you're wrong, sell a bunch of it so that you de-risk and then it work out perfectly and then you have a small piece on. That sucks. So those are the kind of the mistakes that I always find myself making. It's nowadays it's not it's normally not that I pick something bad to trade a lot of times, or it's not that I don't have a good idea of potential direction. It's just that psychological, you know, do I, like you see a little pullback here, you're like, well, I mean, I guess I could de-risk and, what if I am wrong? Like, do I really want the full risk or I could just, it would deleverage. So that's where I kind of find myself today is maybe being a little too risk averse at times, which you never get hurt, but the growth factor is very limited in that regard. So what you gonna do? Um, Dude, Paul, this is a bear market in the YouTube chat, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, if nobody chats on YouTube, then YouTube reads that as a bad thing too. So basically, the more people interact in your chat, the more likely is YouTube would actually recommend it. If no one talks in the YouTube chat, then YouTube sees it as basically a piece of crap stream. And why would we show that to people if no one wants to interact with the person even streaming? You know what I mean? So that doesn't mean you guys should interact. Do as you please. Say absolutely nothing. I'll still show up. But yeah, that's that. I mean, really, the goal is just, keep streaming. Hopefully, keep trading decent and do better for myself, and hopefully provide you guys with some good information along the ride, along the road. Um, Hopefully bring some light to the market a little bit. When I say light to the market, light as in like, hey guys, we're 1 year out from a bear market, and then 1 year out happens and the market goes into a bear market, right? So things like that's what I'm hopefully trying to present and do over and over and over. Again, I don't want to be a CNBC that goes, oh my gosh, why is the market down? Oh, it must be because Trump tripped on his shoelace. Like, come on, it's stupid. Right? Like nobody needs that. What they need is someone to be like, oh, by the way, stock's going to go into a bear market in October of 2025, and then it actually happens. Now, will that consistency and track record of analysis and foresight continue on and keep up? Who knows, but and I'm sure trying my hardest for it to be. Yeah, so that's that. Because, I think there's a lot of retail investors that, that would have been valuable information, but for whatever reason, it was not on Google. There wasn't really any articles that were saying, "Hey guys, bear market 2025 October. That's when it starts," right? I couldn't find really. I mean, there's probably some, but not a lot, right? So I'm just not sure why some of that information is not getting out there, right? I mean, like it's out there, but like why isn't that mainstream, Like why wouldn't that be a mainstream topic? Granted, if it was a mainstream topic, then maybe it wouldn't have worked. So who knows? Anyways. Um, so the market today is just basically going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. It's doing the old tie spinner on people right now. And well, you know, that's no fun. Um, yeah, so hopefully everyone's having a good day and is gonna have a lovely Thanksgiving with the fam. With la familia. Oh, by the way, I did actually buy like a little more Bitcoin down here. Not a big purchase, but like a little one, you know. Just a little couple hundred buckaroonies today on this drop because I don't know, why not? It's kind of fun. Even though I think it's gonna go lower, so but I don't know. I like the drop. I like when people are panicking. I like to buy into panic because, you know, what's more fun than putting on a bicycle helmet and ramming your head into a wall and see how successful you are. So it's kind of where I'm at in life. Just kind of like to do sometimes maybe dumb things. So, you know, can't can't let myself think I'm too smart now. All right. So, anyways, I basically bought into this candle today. Just a couple $100, Coinbase, transfer to an external wallet type jam. So yeah, bought a little bit there. That was fun. Again, still think it's gonna go lower, so it's just kind of one of those things, you know, like dollar cost averaging slightly bigger buys on extreme drops, right? So in the event that I am wrong about how long it goes down for, I'm still kind of accumulating a little bit more than my just typical 3 times a week dollar cost average, right? So I'm still doing my 3 times a week dollar cost average. When we have these big legs down, I'm then starting to deploy a little bit bigger purchases on these big leg downs until we get to where I think we've truly bottomed. And then I'll start buying in bigger and bigger and bigger, and so on and so forth. We just took a little nibble, just a little nibbly nibbly. What is this Fox? Actually, this Fox stock might actually be doing something cool. No, it's, well, it's, nah, no. Hold on, phone call coming in.